Bonjour.
France is on the edge. Why is IMF afraid of handling France's situation? Why the three African countries fallout is damaging the economy of France? Why is the second largest economy in Europe scrambling financially, economically? We are going to dive into all those details. Here is the Adonis Studio. Here we bring you a lot of news about what is happening to every country and to every citizens in their perspective. Make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel. Let's dive into the whole story.
Bonjour.
In August 2025, France, Europe's second largest economy, found itself at the center of a global financial debate. Rumors began circulating. Is France about to seek help from International Monetary Fund, the IMF? While no official bailout request has been made, statements from French officials and mounting data paint a troubling picture. This extended documentary unpacks France's debt crisis, political instability, IMF warning, and the ripple effect from Africa to Europe, explaining what all this means for French citizens and the world. France is not a minor economy with GDP of nearly 3 trillion euros. It is the backbone of Europe alongside Germany. But beneath its image of strength lies a brewing storm. France's national debt has surged past 3.3 trillion euros, more than 110% of its GDP. By EU standards, that is nearly double the allowed threshold. This imbalance now threatens not only France's economy, but the stability of the entire eurozone. For decades, France has borrowed heavily to fund its welfare state, infrastructure, and social programs. The COVID-19 pandemic, energy crisis, and rising interest rates only accelerated borrowing. By 2025, France's budget deficit was projected at 5.4% of its GDP, far beyond the euro's 3% rule. Serving its debt consumes tens of billions of euros annually. Economics, one of a vicious cycle, borrowing more than to pay interest, losing investor confidence, and facing higher borrowing costs. The financial storm is magnified by political chaos. Prime Minister François Barrot's government is under siege from all sides. Finance Minister Eric Lombard shocked the nation when he admitted that if the government collapses, IMF intervention could become a reality. Such language is unheard of for a country of France's status. It signals deep anxiety in Paris and rattles markets across Europe. In July 2025, the IMF issued its Article 5 review of France. While it praised resilience, it warned of unsustainable debt, weak growth, and a deficit spiraling out of control. The IMF urged urgent fiscal reform, spending cuts, pension restructuring, and higher revenues. Without this, it cautioned France risks stagnation. Although the IMF has not offered loans, its message was blunt. Paris must act before market force its hand. France's challenges are not only domestic. The loss of influence in Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger has weakened France's global position and added economic strain. Energy impact: Niger once supplied uranium, critical for France's nuclear plant. With Niamey shifting towards Russia and China, Paris must now pay more than secure alternative supply. In resource access, Mali and Burkina Faso, rich in gold and minerals, are moving out of France's orbit. France companies face reduced access to lucrative contracts and exports. The CFA zone France. These nations break away from Paris, weakens France's financial influence in West Africa, undermining the CFA France system tied to the euro. France uproots exits from the Sahel, added costly operations, but dealt a blow to its prestige and bargaining power. Once seen as Africa's central partner, France now faces rising rivals, Russia, China, and Turkey. Losing its leverage makes it harder for France to negotiate trade and investment globally. For the ordinary French citizens, the crisis feels personal. Inflation has slowed but remains high. Food, rent, and energy strain household budgets. Youth unemployment hovers at worrying levels. Families fear that the IMF uninvolvement could break austerity, reduce social protections, higher taxes, and cut to cherished welfare programs. In a country built on the idea of social solidarity, these fears fuel anger and the street protests. France struggle sends a shock waves through the euro. The eurozone has survived crisis before, mostly notably Greece collapsed in 2010, but France is different. Its economy is 7 times larger. Brussels fears contagion. If France fratters, Southern Europe could face renewed market pressure. Already, EU leaders demand that the Paris present a credible plan for reducing deficit to reassure investors. Inside France, politics are toxic. The left calls for taxing the wealthy and protecting social services. Conservatives push for sweeping spending cuts. Unions threaten strikes if austerity is imposed. The IMF's shadow's loans large is in this debate. To some, it symbolizes surrounding sovereignty. To others, it is a wake-up call. The political class appears paralyzed as the citizens brace for what comes next. If France sought out IMF's help, the condition will be harsh. Programs might include raising the retirement age again, slashing subsidizing, restructuring welfare, and privatizing state assets. For the French, this will feel like humiliation. A nation that helped design the IMF after the World War II would now be its agent. The political backlash could now reshape France's democracy and even threaten EU unity. France stands today at a crossroad. Its debt is borrowing, its deficit widening, and its political house divided abroad. It has lost ground in Africa, weakening its global leverage. At home, citizens fear for austerity and instability. The IMF has not yet been called, but the warning signs are clear. France must choose: implement painful reforms on its own terms, or risk outside intervention that would alter its dignity. The coming months will define whether France stabilizes or whether history records 2025 as the year the French Republic turned to the IMF. Do you think France, as the second largest economy in the eurozone, is now going to turn to IMF, which they themselves designed after the Second World War? Do you think if France turn into the IMF, their destiny will change and the citizens will start scrambling? Whatever you think, drop your opinion in the comment section. Thanks for watching this channel.